myself. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna mute you guys for a minute. If you need to talk to me, unmute yourselves. It's fine. You guys already know what Success Club is, obviously. You guys have been coaches for a little bit, but I wanted to talk to you tonight about how I go about achieving Success Club every month. I think I'm at 18 months now, possibly 19. I lost track. That I have not missed it. And Success Club is earning 5 points plus in any 1 month, which equates to 3 to 4 people. I know they've always said 2 to 3, but technically if it's 2 people, that's only 4 points. So per month, it says, how do you earn points? You earn 2 points for every challenge pack sold. You guys know this, Shakeology and pack program combo. And you earn 1 point for every order of Shakeology on HD, home direct. You guys also know that if a coach signs up with a challenge pack, so if they choose to sign up with a challenge pack at the same time that they become a coach, that also counts for 2 points for us. I'm also a big fan of this also because it starts your journey with a bang. So you have everything you need to start your own business. But you basically, if you're just talking about reaching out to people for your challenge groups, it's 2 points for every challenge pack, 1 point for every order of Shakeology HD. Step 1, 3 vital behaviors. Now, am I the world's best at this? You guys know I'm not. I have to force myself to do this. And this is the one thing that I harp on, and it's consistency. It's, the K word. But it's little by little. If you can get your 3 vital behaviors in every single day, even if, and I didn't say this, even if you only get them in 80% of the time, you're still going to make progress on your business. But obviously be proof the products work. That means being able to share your sweaty selfies, share your Shakeology recipes, but it also means sharing your life. Like you guys have seen, I post pictures when I go shopping. I post pictures when I find a dress I really like. People pay attention to the visuals. So that being said, working out, posting healthier recipes, posting, your life, being active with your kids, it's all part of the 3 vital behaviors. And I think that's something that gets lost in translation sometimes, because I would almost amend the be proof the products work to be proof the products work and share your daily life. Most of us have kids. Most of us want to be more active. Most of us don't have time to go to a gym. I mean, by the time you take into account childcare, travel, getting set up, walking through the gym, everything else, I mean, it's a 2.5 hour, ordeal to even get an hour in, versus when we are already part of a group like this, we have everything at our fingertips. We have everything. I mean, I have a closet full of weightlifting equipment, so I don't have to go anywhere. And that's something that's really, really, really huge. So the more we talk about that and the more we are proof that these programs work, the more people want to be a part of that. And even if you don't get like 100 likes on your sweaty selfie, people are still paying attention, and have fun with it. That's the main thing. You don't have to constantly be like, I died doing Insanity Max 30. You could, just use it as an inspiration. Like I'm going to post in the morning. I missed my workout today. Not happy with myself. In fact, I posted Motivation Monday, but I'm going to do doubles in the morning and I'm probably going to die. And it's okay. I'm good with that. But I will share about it in the morning. Personal development, I'm huge on this, guys. Pick a topic that you know is a weak spot for you. Leadership, time management, whatever it is. Maybe it's a lack of direction in your personal life. We all have discovered, Shannon's posted about this a couple times, that this journey is so much more than fitness. And that's something that I'm just now really starting to be able to discuss with people, because almost everybody I come across that reaches out to me, or I reach out to, that chooses to interact and talk to me about where they're at in their life or where they're at in their fitness and where they want to be in their health goals, the recurring themes that I come across are lack of direction. Maybe they're at a point in their life they're not really happy with relationship-wise. Maybe they're struggling with addictions. Maybe they're struggling with depression, anxiety. I mean, there is such a need for what we have to offer that we kind of sometimes, I think, feel like, oh, well, nobody really cares what I have to say. Well, if we're struggling with that ourselves and we're working on that, we can share stuff that helps other people that isn't just about fitness. That's huge. And I think it makes people stop and think and go, wow, maybe there's more to her than just wanting to sell me her crap, you know? And you guys know when people say I'm a great salesman, it makes me cringe, because the one thing I do not want is somebody that is going to peddle and push and sell, because that's not what we do. As coaches, we have found a way to get our fitness in, to get our health in, and to be more mentally and physically fit that people don't know exist a lot of times, or don't really know what it's about. So our job is to share that. Inviting. Be willing to share the opportunity, both in health aspect and in business aspect. Jen and I talked a little bit about this today. There are 2 lists that I have every single month. One is somebody that I know I can help as a challenger that might not necessarily be the best fit for our team, but I know I can help them get their health and fitness on track. And sometimes, and this has happened more than once, when they start getting their health and fitness on track, you see the mental change, and you see them starting to become somebody that would be willing or could help other people on the level that we do. So, you know, the possibilities are endless with who could possibly be a coach. Now, the business aspect, also inviting, you know, one is a challenger's list, one is a coach list. My coach list consists of people that have completed a program with me, that might have gone through that transformation, or people that might just be you guys know the ones that always post in the groups, always motivating. They post all over their Facebook, super excited, great results, what have you. And then there's the third category, people where I go, okay, this person's like me. You know, we have our dream coaches, that I could reach out to them and be like, hey, you know, maybe I've developed a relationship with them. Maybe I know them in real life. There's tons of different scenarios, but I could reach out to them and be like, hey, this is what me and my team are about. I really feel like you could use this business opportunity. You're wanting to get started on your health and fitness anyway. Maybe they're in between jobs. Maybe their husband lost their job. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they're a single mom. And if you can see that that person has the ability to capture our vision, I would 100% say invite them to the business opportunity first. That's what Brittany did with me. And I have never not been a coach. I was never technically a challenger. I was a challenger and a coach at the same time. So again, just to kind of touch on that a little bit, there's 3 lists for the invitation process that I have. One is for challengers, people that I don't necessarily know that well yet, that are just starting on their fitness journey. One is for coaches, which are people that have, you know, either were acting as coaches during the challenge group, or people that have gone through that mental transformation. And the third aspect of those lists are coaches people that I know would just make amazing coaches from the get-go. 90% of the time, that is a gut instinct with me, and I haven't really been wrong yet. Now, does that mean that some people have kind of fallen off? Yes, life happens. But you guys have to remember that this dream only works if you do. So that's not something you can control. You can be there with somebody, you can give them the vision, give them what we're about, but you can't force them to do the work. So, but that doesn't mean you should be shy about inviting them to the opportunity. Inviting publicly, ins and outs. This post is one that got a ton of response for me. I hated this picture. This is at my baby shower. And I remember looking at myself when I saw these pictures, yes, I'm glowing, but I'm huge. And we've all had kids. We know what that looks like. And then I snapped the picture of my stomach just out of nowhere. I was like, wow, like when you have that mental image of what you look like, you don't realize how far you've come until you see it up on screen. And this invite resonated hugely with my mom, which is part of my market. So tips, make them bright, relatable. This one, I literally did in 5 seconds. It was just something on my heart, something on my mind, and was one of the best responses I ever had. Make it fun. You know, that's like me. I make goofy faces all the time. If that's not you, that's fine. But, you know, make it bright, make it fun, make it something that people want to be a part of. And if you post the same stuff all the time, people kind of get a little ho-hum. But on the same respect, if you find a way to kind of flip it on its ear, that almost gets you more response, because people might be watching and be like, oh, there's another invite, there's another selfie, there's another whatever. And then they see something different and they're like, okay, well, what's this? What is she doing now? Pros to this method. You can use this to launch conversations with a bunch of people. You can say, I don't know if you saw my post, but, or I saw you like my post for my next challenge group and I'm so pumped about this. Would you like the details? You guys have asked me several times how I approach this. This is what I do. It's as simple as that. Cons. Facebook can be cranky about who sees your posts. This is why the next part is so important. I'm sorry, this is a lot of writing, guys, but I wanted to post this for you guys so you had it all written down for you. Inviting privately, relationship building. I don't care how many public posts you post, you are going to miss 95% of your audience. You might have that one magic post that 150 people like, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to miss quite a bit of your market. Then I, kind of go into that. That's why we have to invite publicly and privately. And I know the private part, in a lot of respects, is what scares people after they become a coach. You get used to posting all your stuff publicly and you just click on it and you just go, okay, shut it down, forget about it. And then you pray people like it so you can talk to them. Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't really work. Beginning of every month, I go through and make a list of about 50 people. Right now, it's actually upwards of 100. And I said 100 if you're aiming for SE10. You guys know my algorithm, so to speak. For every 10 people you talk to, you will probably have one person join your challenge group that month. This is the same in a lot of respects for coaching. That's why if you only invite 5 people to the coaching opportunity a month, you're not going to have anybody join your team. So step 1, if they're a new friend ad, go through, find something you generally connect with them, like and or comment on 1 to 3 posts. That doesn't mean go through and like 1,000 other posts. Find something genuine that you can connect on. Like one girl that I've really kind of had my eye on, she just went to Disney World with her daughter and did the Magic Princess Luncheon that is horribly expensive. But I wanted the details because there's always a waiting list. And I knew she hadn't planned in advance to that. So I reached out to her. I was like, hey, how did you do that? You guys just went and she's like, we had to wait, but we waited through 3 cycles and 3 reservation times and then they got us in. And then we've gotten to talk about other stuff and she brought it up. She goes, hey, I've seen a lot of your posts. I joined a gym. I'm not really doing all that great. Can you offer me any tips? Hello. I mean, how easy can you possibly get? And of course, she's seen my stuff on Facebook for I don't know how long. Step 2, if there is interaction and it's a new friend ad, especially, I always send a quick message. Thanks so much for the ad. Generally comment on one of the posts I saw on their page. Now this is more of something that is a new friend ad or something that, it's creating that private and public interaction. So the first thing I do is go through, like a couple of their posts, comment on a post, then I'll shoot them a message, and then I'll go back to their public stuff and I'll go look again and possibly comment on something else. I repeat, do not do some BS comment on something that you cannot talk about. Because it's just going to leave you dead in the water. For me, I look for fashion. I look for funny stuff. I look for kids. You have to be careful a little bit because people are a little funny about their children if you don't know the person. So you might want to talk about something not quite so personal as the kids initially. Especially moms like to post about fitness stuff and recipes. And, every mom wants me personally, I'm in better shape than I was in high school, but every mom wants their ideal body back or has an ideal of where they want to be. So more than likely than not, you're going to go through their page and find at some point a workout tip, workout post, blog post, something. Step 3, invite. I usually have other moms. Mine usually look like, I know you're a crazy busy mom like me. We generally have no time. I have a fitness accountability group coming up and they've helped me a ton. I was wondering if this is something you might be interested in. If I've been interacting with the person for a little bit, a lot of times I'll send some of my original results because Facebook is cranky, more than likely they haven't seen it. If they didn't like it, they probably haven't seen it. And if they did see it, that might jog their memory. This I kind of already touched on a little bit that, many of the moms post fitness tips, things like that. It's really kind of a no-brainer. I know this is something that we've been talking about for a little while, guys, but this is exactly what I do. The other thing that I might do is if it's somebody that I've been interacting for a little bit with, I'll ask them questions, be like, hey, you know, I've seen you like some of my posts for fitness stuff. Like, are you on a journey like mine, or something like that? Whatever sounds natural. And you guys also know I harp on this too. If it feels wrong, it probably is. So don't reach out to people that you don't think you're going to mesh with. It generally doesn't work. So follow your gut on a lot of this. And one of the things Jen and I were talking about earlier today was fear does not equal wrong. Just because you're nervous about sending a message doesn't mean you're wrong. If your gut tells you you probably shouldn't do it, however, probably not a good idea. So that is one of the biggest things that has helped me since becoming a coach and really working on my confidence, is I can tell when I'm nervous about messaging somebody because I'm not 100% on myself. Like, you know, are they going to like me? It's kind of like when you have that friend that you really want to connect with, but you don't know if they're going to like you too. Not so much of if you're scrolling through somebody's page and like everything's negative, everything's whatever, and you're like, I just don't think this is a good fit. If it isn't, move on. You know, if you want to comment on their stuff, I have several people that I've kind of been working with in the background that are kind of like that, but I haven't invited them yet because of the fact that I just don't think they're ready. And finally, don't forget to follow up. I was the world's worst at this for the first year. I've gotten a lot better about it since I started putting everything to Excel, because I highlight in red people that I need to follow up with the next month. So basically, just to kind of recap, it's really easy, and you have to make sure that you keep track of your lists. When you reach out to that person, whether it's somebody that's already on your Facebook that you choose to put on the list that month and you go and start liking their stuff, or if it's a new ad, you start the interaction public, take it private, go back to public, and then maybe follow up with them privately. But one thing you really want to do, and I've really kind of gotten a lot better about this, don't forget about people, because they wait to see if you actually follow up with them. They wait to see if you actually care enough to invest time in them. And that is 90% of this business, which is all about people. It's wanting to see if somebody actually cares enough to take the time to follow up and to see if you actually genuinely care about them or if you're just trying to sell them something. So that's what I got for you guys. I told you it's going to be about 20, 25 minutes. I want to kind of open the floor for Q&A, any questions. That's exactly what I do every single month. So I don't know if this helps you guys. Shannon's eyes are like wide. All right, you're nodding. Comment.
That's just everything that I emailed you about where I struggle. So this helps a ton, because I never know how to be like, because like, for example, like just in the last 3 days, I think I've gotten 20 new friend requests, and they're mostly, almost all of them are females, and they're coming out of nowhere, and they're mutual friends of mutual friends. And I'm like, well, crap. Because I'm pretty shy until I actually open up. So I didn't really know how to.
And then you can't close that book.
So, I mean, this helps a ton. My next question, as I'm thinking ahead, is how to craft my why, because my why has changed drastically.
Well, there's a fine line between being honest and putting your ish on blast.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, Shannon, I'm here to help you with whatever you want. I think you've done a really beautiful and wonderful job of being vulnerable and honest. I think, honestly, we're all growing together, and I'm really excited about that. I think, again, if it feels wrong, it probably is. If it makes you nervous, that's actually probably a good thing. But in your case, you're going to have to put it out there a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, hate posting and whatever else.
Right.
But I think in your case, you're going to post, and you're going to have a lot that people are going to relate to. I mean, when I was going through my stuff, I had a lot of personal messages, several people that both joined challenge groups, and a couple of coaches that had gone through similar things and wanted to know basically how I'd gotten to the point where I was strong enough to share what I was going through. And the answer was coaching. And that's something that you can't really knock. So I think in your case, especially since you're looking to build, I would hold on with both hands and just think about it, you know, pray about it, and whatever's on your heart, try to craft it in a respect that, you know, is respectful to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time, but I think you've already done a really good job with that. The only thing I would ask is that maybe you try to do some more graphics with that, because people, when they see a lot of text, tend to keep scrolling. People are lazy by nature. They just are. I mean, I have a almost 5-year-old that still wants me to wipe her rear end because she doesn't want to put down her game. And that's just the way it is. I mean, if I had somebody to bathe me, I might do it too. I don't know.
Now, how would you follow up with somebody? Like, do you just start a conversation, or do you just jump right in and be like, hey, my challenge group is getting ready to start up, wanted to see if you were interested? Or
if it was somebody that had said no previously, I always ask permission to, is it okay? You know, let me rephrase that. If they say no and they're kind of rude about it, I leave them alone. I might continue to like their stuff. When I say follow up, I don't necessarily mean send them a message.
Okay.
I mean, just keep them on your radar. Following up can be either going and continuing to like their stuff and continuing that relationship building, or it can be shooting them a message. Hey, you said it was okay for me to follow up. My next group is starting. You know, are you in? One thing that has made a huge difference for me in the last 6 months, especially with building our team, is the time in between that. I don't just message them when it's time for my group to start again. Like, I might send them at least 3 or 4 messages in between that. Like, hey, I see your daughter's sick. I really hope she gets better. Man, I've been there so many times that it sucks. You know, things like that. Just kind of make it you don't want it to be like, hey, you know, stuff's starting again. You ready this time? Though, right. If it's somebody that you know really well, there's no harm in being that way. But if you're talking about somebody that's a new person or somebody that you haven't met in person, you got to remember you're still in that kind of courtship phase. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is there any way you can do like a post for us on like how you schedule your month and how many people you work on per day and kind of how you flow them throughout the month? Like if you had Sally, Joe, and Jim on Monday and Jack, Joe, and Stacy on Tuesday, how you kind of scroll back through them and how many you do per day?
Well, my month varies. It does vary. What my personal goal is to hit Success Club by the 15th of every month, just like Brittany's is. My initial goal is to have the first contacts done before the 9th or 10th of every single month. So those 50 people have had some interaction with me by the 9th or 10th of every month. And be it an invite, be it starting the relationship build. I take my time in a lot of respects. I have people that I start working on the month before. Like, so I have people right now that I'm talking to that I know I won't invite until March. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But personally, my rule of thumb is to have it. Now it's 100 because I'm aiming a lot higher because I'm also trying to build our team pretty quickly. But my starting goal for Success Club 5 and above is 50 people.
Do you ask your challengers, like, because I have some challengers that I just don't know if I should be following up with them outside of the challenge group. And when I do, they just ignore me. They'll interact in the challenge group, but when I message them and say, hey, how are you doing? How's everything going? I'm literally ignored. So I'm trying to find that balance where, like, I know how they want to be handled. And so I don't know if I should just come right out and ask them, like, how do you want me to coach you? I guess. Do you want just the challenge group? Do you want me to check in weekly with you, daily? What do you want from me?
Before the start of a lot of challenge groups, I will do that with people. I will ask them, like, hey, if I don't see you post in the group, is it okay with you if I follow up? Kind of similar to how if I invite and they say no. And if they ignore you 2 or 3 times, then it's on them. If they're participating in the group, then they're getting what they need to out of it, and you have your answer.
Okay.
I will say that, Jenna was asking me this. Actually, no, it wasn't Jenna. It was Jamie. Asking me like, what's a good number for a challenge group? And I told her an honest answer. I said, I've had groups with 20 something people in it where like 2 interact. And then I've had groups with 4 or 5 people. I mean, Shannon, you were part of one of them that were just amazing. They were really, really good. So you got to remember, just like you can't do the work for somebody that wants to build their business, you can't do the work for somebody that signs up for a challenge group. And there are self-starters out there that they just like to see the posts every day and they don't really want to be bothered with anything else.
Yeah, that seems to be where my challengers are, except for a couple of them. They want to be in the challenge group, but they don't want to post. But they're using it as motivation. So I'm like, okay. I get these really silent, quiet people.
Well, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I can't tell you how many times I've had people follow up with me for 6 months, 9 months, a year later and be like, hey, remember that conversation we had about coaching? I think I'm ready. Okay. So, Jennifer Martinez.
Now, what about like recommitting people? Because when I started my list of like who I haven't invited that I want to, who I want to invite to the coach op, who I want to, or who I need to follow up with, I also was like, well, I actually have people that I need to see if they want to recommit. Do you ever put requirements on them if you're asking them to recommit? Because they've already bought the challenge pack. They're probably not doing Shakeology still. Like none of these girls are.
Well, here's my thought on that. You can talk to them. You can say, hey, I have my next challenge group coming up. Didn't know if you were interested. A lot of times, this is my experience. If it's somebody that needs to recommit, I'll let them get away with doing a program and just maybe not doing the Shakeology for a little while, especially since they already made the investment once. But if they continue to do it and start showing progress, then I'll ask them about possibly doing their next package. And we all know that we're not supposed to do this, but I've pretty much gotten the points every single time. Now, granted, if they ever audit, I'll have them taken away. But that is a good way to get them back kind of on the wagon, and back into that lifestyle, is to talk, kind of let them at their own pace do it. And then after one round, just kind of talk to them and be like, hey, and a lot of it depends on if they actually recommit. If they recommit and then they, still don't participate or still don't really do anything with it, I'd leave it alone. If they recommit and they're doing really awesome, several times what I've done is I approach them about the coaching opportunity. Like, hey, you've seen that this works. You're doing it again. You see it works again. That's one of the reasons, the accountability was 3/4 of the reason I became a coach. Would this be something you'd be interested in?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, guys.
Amanda, if you don't mind, I'll put myself on blast to kind of answer Shannon's question a little bit as one of your people. I have been on and off with Shakeology simply because I can't always afford it.
That's a lot of people.
However, I've had results that have been pretty damn amazing. So Amanda keeps me around. I don't know why, but she does, and I'm here. So I am not always on Shakeology all the time, and sometimes I stretch my bags longer than I probably should, but it's because I simply can't always afford it. And that's not everybody's case, but that's my personal experience.
I will tell you guys this. I'm not making it publicly known. I still want us to require the Shakeology for the most part, but one of the things that I've amended, like we have somebody right now who is a wonderful, wonderful coach potential, but she has some serious health issues and her doctor wants her on this multivitamin, whatever, which literally when I was talking to her, I was like, Shakeology has that plus a ton more, and I know what it could do for her. So I'm sending her some samples, and she's actually part of the challenge group right now without the Shakeology, because honestly, I'm not going to sit there and be like, hey, your doctor's wrong. I'm just not going to do it. So there's, there are instances where it's not, we're not just in this to make the sale. We're not just in this to make the money. And I think in the long run, that tends to come back around. So if somebody legitimately can't afford something, or if they are having health issues, or there's extenuating circumstances, like they're literally can't pay their electric, but they want to do a challenge group and they commit to buying a program, okay. I'm not going to turn that person down, because to be honest with you, I know of a lot of coaches, and you guys have heard the success stories that come from nothing. So I don't think that it would be in the right light for our team and what we stand for to completely exclude people because of whatever. Now, generally, I do try to do more of a one-on-one thing, but I've recently talked to Katie Stambaugh, who is a really good friend of mine. I don't know if you guys follow any of her stuff. She's flipping hilarious. But she kind of does the same thing. She initially talking to somebody always requires the Shakeology, requires the challenge pack, because most people, if they say they can't afford it, it's because they won't. Because then you'll see people posting pictures of their acrylics, which are, I don't know, like $60 now. You know, so it's 2 rounds of nails basically once you tip somebody. So there's can't and won't, and that is kind of where we walk a fine line. As a massage therapist, I'll share this with you guys. There's been plenty of times I've given people price breaks and I've gotten bitten by it, but I would say probably 75% of the time I've been able to help somebody that wouldn't have been able to get help otherwise. So, you know, it's a wash, I think, in the long run.
I don't know what her health problems are, Amanda, but I can tell you the vegan works a whole lot better with my health issues than the chocolate. The chocolate kind of made me eh.
I'm not surprised. You probably have a whey sensitivity just like I do. That's why I can't. I have a whole mess of the cafe latte samples that I bought, but I'm not. I tried it at the Super Saturday, but I can't use it on a regular basis. So, Jennifer, I know you've been kind of quiet. You got anything for me over there? Do what?
Just taking it all in.
I mean, I think you guys can kind of see why I wanted to do this tonight and why I sat down and really thought about what I do, how I approach people. And I said this to Jenna earlier when we had our one-on-one, I do my best not to give people an out necessarily, but to take the pressure off of them. Because, like, I was walking through International Plaza today. Yes, my hair is shorter. And I was going to get my hair cut, and like 4 different stupid skincare people, no offense, like attacked me. Like, oh, buy my, and I finally was like, look, I have highly sensitive skin. I have a routine that works for me. Thank you, but no thank you. It's 9:30 in the morning and I have not had my coffee yet. And we don't want people to feel that way about us, you know? So if you're looking for a solution, we are here to help. If you are not, and you just want to stalk us some more, that's fine too. Moving on.
I have one more question. As far as like your power hour goes, do you include like your graphics when you're putting some of your graphics and stuff together in your power hour?
It depends. It depends on how on point I am that day. Like today, to be honest, between meeting with you guys and doing this and everything else, I probably put in about 6 hours today total. But I mean, like just throwing up a post these days, because I don't do all of the huge, I try to do more of the picture grabs instead of the huge like invites. That I usually can do within my power hour, yeah. And sometimes, depending on, I count it as like half of my invite process. So like I will have had 3/4 of my power hour done, and then I'll spend 15-20 minutes later following up with the people that like that post, and that'll complete my hour. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
That
I'm just trying to figure out. Go ahead.
That step-by-step Brittany posted of the power hour where she did it live, can you give us, like, even if you just type it up, like an outline of that? Because I went through it, but I need the outline because it's gone off the internet, I think. I can't find it anymore.
Well, I don't know if it's in the personal mentor group. I'm going to go back and check. And if it's not, I can probably message her and see. because I only got through about 3/4 of that. The problem was when we did the power hour, because I thought it was going to be live, I had already done mine for the day. So I was trying to go back and kind of juggle between two. But I will say this. I think I don't think we're going to be doing the first Monday of every month. We're going to be doing that instead of a meeting like this. Well, we'll do one-on-ones and then we'll do a power hour that night.
That would be awesome.
So I think that would be a really great way to start the month off for us, and it would force us to get stuff on paper immediately as opposed to I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow.
Now, when you suggest, like, timing-wise, for somebody who's working full-time, to have a successful power hour, because, like, lunch or at night?
See, this is what I've learned about myself. Like, after we get off here tonight, I'm going to convert this, since I actually know how to do it. And I'm going to convert the coach opportunity call from the other night and see if I can fix that too. And I will probably be up for another 2 or 3 hours just because I get really pumped up when I'm working with you guys. So tonight will be it. I'll get up, I'll work out in the morning, and then I'll probably do my power hour tomorrow at lunch because I don't get off work until late tomorrow night. So it varies for me. On nights like this, I do really, really well staying up. On other, like, regular nights, like when we don't have a meeting the night before, I generally will get up at about 5:30. First thing I'll do is I'll go check out all my groups. Then I'll do add to my list if I want to add to my list that day. Then I'll go through and check back and look at who I still need to follow up, probably send out 3 or 4 messages that way, and then I'll go do my workout.
Okay.
The first thing I have to force myself to do is to go through all the groups because especially right now I've got like 4 open. So I want to make sure everybody's taken care of. So that's the first thing I do. Otherwise I'll get distracted and I'll realize it's noon and then I will realize I haven't posted yet. Now that I'm actually among the land of the living and no longer half dead on cough medicine and everything, my brain's functioning a whole lot better. So, but you feel like tonight helped you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I know this is something that you guys have been asking me to do for a long, long time. So I wanted to kind of put it all down. Like I said, the slides will be posted. And I think, because I already told them from now on, I'm taking Mondays off unless I have to go in the morning for some reason. So from now on, what I want to do is have our one-on-ones. And I know you guys all work, obviously, but have our one-on-ones at some point in between like 4 and 8 o'clock on Mondays, and I'll probably do it every other week. So not next week, but the week after will be our one-on-ones. First Monday, I actually have the March calendar is almost done. Finally posted February, but Monday night, first Monday night of the week or the month, you guys know is going to be our power hour. And I even checked it against the schedule with when I'm going to be in Jamaica, and it still works. So I just think it's a good way to start the month off, and especially with new coaches, as we keep adding to the team, I think it's a good introduction to how you should go step by step by step by step with doing things. So you guys got anything else for me? I know I kind of threw a lot at you, but that is literally exactly what I do. And if you guys have any other questions, from now on, what I'm going to be doing is probably about 4 or 5 days beforehand, I'm going to be posting the times like I did before. As we get bigger, I'm going to go back to using the scheduling software, but it just seemed like it didn't really work for people. So I'm just going to do a post, probably pin it the day before or the days before. So you guys know what times are available. I'll probably add some times on Sunday night too, if there's a lot of people that sign up on Monday, but I'm going to try really hard not to do that because I want us to focus on our families. So anything else, guys? No? Okay. I'm going to put this up, and if you guys want to share it with anybody, I'm going to leave it public on YouTube. So that way, you know, if you have anybody that signs up and you feel like this is good information for them, which I'm hoping, you know, obviously it helped you guys, just feel free to share it, please. And the slides will be up in probably the next like 10 or 15 minutes. So.
Any ideas on how to use Instagram to follow up with people that like your posts on Instagram?
Private message them.
Okay.
Or the other thing I've done is similar to what Facebook, comment back and forth and then private message them. Sometimes I'll ask if they have a Facebook because it's easier to chat that way. But I'm in the process of still kind of figuring out my Instagram stuff. I know I think the National Wake Up Call today was on that. So,
yeah, it could be on playback, right?
Yeah. So, and from now on, I'm actually going to go, and now that I actually know how to do this, I'm going to go and create a folder for all of our training calls so you guys can go back and listen to everything. Also, for the Take Your Business Seriously group, you have until tomorrow night to get your list together. So don't stress, it's not due in the morning. So tomorrow, just by tomorrow night at some point, and then I'll post the assignment for Wednesday tomorrow night. So get ready for a lot of video, guys. So everybody feeling pretty good?
Yep.
Okay. Well, have a good night. Try to get some rest. And I'm going to, fingers crossed, I'm going to go convert this and have it up for you guys. And I'm going to add it to the file folders too. So, mwah.
Pray for no snow in daycare, guys.
I have several people that are praying for that as well.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys.